Welcome to something short and sweet in the Parsha. This week, Parshas Chayei Sara. A soldier coming back from a vacation from the front in Gaza related the miraculous conditions of his deployment there. He said that although there were 100 soldiers in his unit, and many times they were intact, they were in fierce gunfights. Terrorists jumping out of buildings, jumping out of tunnels. Not one soldier, Baruch Hashem. Injuries, yes. Not one soldier has been killed, and they have killed scores of terrorists. Hashem should continue to protect them. The upshot, according to this Chayal, was tefillah is protecting them. And that's the call of the hour. We have learned that when Klal Yisrael went to battle against Midian, 12,000 went out to war, 12,000 went to the base Medrash to daven. We know that when Klal Yisrael faced Amalek for the first time, Moshe Rabbeinu stood on the mountain, raised his hands, and that was a signal of his being Mispal and Klal Yisrael looking to their Father in heaven, and were winning the war at that moment. So tefillah is the call of the hour. And when we daven to Hashem for the safety of our brothers and sisters in arms, we fulfill the mitzvah of the Ahavta l'recha kamocha, of loving your fellow as yourself, which is Zeklal Gadol b'Torah. It's such an important mitzvah. It's an expression of love for them. When we stand in prayer for our brothers and sisters, it's expressing our belief in the Ribono Shel Olam at the highest level. We're saying that we recognize that HaKadosh Baruch Hu controls the world. It's an expression of Anochi Hashem Elokecha. It's fulfillment of that mitzvah. Belief in HaKadosh Baruch Hu and in his providence. When we stand in tefillah, we fulfill the mitzvah of tefillah on a Torah level according to all authorities. You know that the tefillah that we do every day, there's a great debate between the authorities. Is it a mitzvah by Torah law or is it a mitzvah by rabbinic law? But according to everyone, to daven be'es Sara, to daven at a time of trouble, it's a mitzvah aseh de'oraisa. The power of tefillah. But there's something more. It's not only the call of the hour, it's the call of the era. Now is the time in history where we need to be davening more than any other time. The last words in Parshas Chayei Sara speak of Yishmael, the grandfather of our enemies today, the progenitor of Hamas. And the Parsha ends with Yishmael's death. And what it says is, Al Panei Kol Echav Nafal. Al Panei Kol Echav Nafal. What does that mean to you? Well, Rashi translates it as a fulfillment of the promise that was given to Hagar, that Yishmael would be so numerous, they would be nafal, they would be living, yishkon, they would be dwelling with all the other nations, because they would be so numerous. That's Rashi. The Baal HaTurim says this can be understood on a different level. The Baal HaTurim says there is something very important in the juxtaposition between the last words here in Chayei Sara and the first words in Parshas Toldos. Next week's Parsha begins, Ve'ela Toldos Yitzchak. And this is what the great Baal HaTurim says. Lomar, this teaches, Kisheyipo Yishmael ba'achar sayamim, when Yishmael will fall, God willing, soon, at the end of days, Yitzmach ben David, then the Mashiach ben David will sprout forth, Shehumi told us Yitzchak, who is from the offspring of Yitzchak. Therefore, there's a message for the Messianic age buried in these psukim. When Yishmael will fall, ultimately, Yitzchak will sprout forth. Mashiach comes from Yitzchak. How's that going to happen? Let's go to another Balaturim. Balaturim, which in regard to the birth of Yishmael. The pasuk says that Hagar was promised that she was going to have a child. Hinach hara, the allotted ben, you're going to conceive, and you're going to have a child. V'karas shmo Yishmael, and his name will be called Yishmael. Why? Ki shama Hashem el onyech, because Hashem has heard your pain. Hashem has heard your distress. So the Balaturim, following the Medrash, is wondering, Shama is past tense. Hashem has heard your distress. She was in distress. So you're going to have a child, which is going to embody Hashem's responding to this distress. So it should be Shama El, that Hashem heard. What's Yishma? Balaturim says that there's an aspect of future besides what the pasuk says, Hashem heard, but that Hashem will hear. How so? So the Balaturim quotes the Balei Mesorah. Balei Mesorah, the Masoretes, were people who measured every single letter and every single word of our Tanakh. They knew it all, and they saw things within the various language that the Torah used, or the prophets, or the writings uses. And the Masoretes say that the word v'karas, which is very unusual, is to be found 4 times in the entire Tanakh, in the entire Bible. One is here, v'karas shmo Yishmael. His name will be called Yishmael. One is at the end of Parshas Vayelech. Moshe Rabbeinu is giving his last speech. And he says, Ba'achar Sayamim, at the end of days, he seems to be alluding, times of Mashiach, v'karas alechem hara'ah. Evil is going to befall you. The third place is towards the beginning of the book of Yeshaya, where Yeshaya is being told by HaKadosh Baruch Hu, don't worry about the invading enemies. You're going to have a son, which depicts the fact that things will be okay. V'karas shmo Immanuel. His name will be Emmanuel. And the fourth time is at the end of the book of Yeshaya, where HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, V'karas Yeshua Chomosayech, that salvation will be declared over your walls. Says the Balaturim, there's a message in these 4 places. Parshas Lech Lecha, Parshas Vayelech, the beginning of Yeshaya and the end of Yeshaya. And here's the message. What an important message. V'karas shmo Yishmael. When Yishmael will call out, when Yishmael will go into their mosque on a Friday, and they will call out, death to the Jews, from the river to the sea. Then the second one, v'karas alechem hara'ah. Moshe Rabbeinu foresaw the end of Parshas Vayelech, when they're going to cry out. So then v'karas, not called out, but there will happen to you evil, terrible things will happen at the end of time. However, let's go to the third place where it says v'karas. V'karas shmo Immanuel. But when Klal Yisrael cries out and they say, Immanuel, God is with us. God, we're with you. Be with us. We cry out to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Immanuel. So then the fourth V'karas Yeshua Shomosayach. Yeshua, salvation will be declared over the walls of Yerushalayim. Tefillah is not only the call of the hour. Tefillah is the specific call of the era. This is the time to daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This moment we've been waiting for thousands of years. May we merit to answer the call. The Karas Shmo Immanuel. We cry out to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem, we're with you. You are with us. And may we live to see very soon the fulfillment of the prophecy of Isaiah. The Karas Yeshua Shomosayach. May we see that salvation be declared all over the walls of Yerushalayim and Eretz Yisrael. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great Shabbos.